by anyone who is receptive to them, and that's why public opinion becomes such a strong force. It can if it's really organized.
And now we have this phenomenon of the World Wide Web, the Internet, which is the medium through which these mass ideas can be relayed literally around the planet instantaneously. And in a way, it's a beautiful example of our power to communicate with each other. But on the other hand, it can be a means for communicating misunderstanding, lack of information, ignorance, prejudgment, ill-founded reactions, and so on. Rumors can be transmitted via the Internet. People can react instantaneously, and they do. And I wonder sometimes whether the need for thoughtfulness and pondering and reflection is completely bypassed.
Well, yeah, that's the human mind has become so awake and so alert and so sensitive that it picks up all of this stuff that's floating around through the air. And this is actually the basis for telepathy, really, from mind-to-mind contact. And there is more of that telepathy going on if we only realized it, because we're picking up thoughts from other people all the time.
But we think they're our own original thoughts.
You think they originate with us and say, I have this brilliant idea, but
it's all
10
mine.
other people down the street have thought of the same thing. So
Well,
I mean,
they stole it.
Yeah, and you can't copyright your ideas. But anyway, it's a tremendous thing. We have to be more conscious of it, and then we would see it happening.
And if we were more conscious of it, we would be more thoughtful and cautious about what we contribute to the mass consciousness. All our little petty thoughts of selfish, resentful, greedy, acquisitive, or selfish, materialistic, resentful ideas, all of those little reactions that are really often just below the threshold of our own consciousness are nevertheless pouring through this realm that is transmitted into the minds of everybody around us, for good or for ill. One person thinking thoughts of peace, of goodwill, in a unhappy group atmosphere can do wonders to help uplift the consciousness of the whole group. One person thinking ill, filled with suspicion and innuendo and criticism, can do a great deal of damage because people react to these thoughts without even realizing it.
For those people who just tuned in, you're listening to Inner Sight. Our topic for today: more thoughts on the etheric body. We have a special offer from Lucis Trust. It's a gift to you. It's a paper. And the title of the paper is The Etheric Body and the Seven Centers. And what you need to do in order to take advantage of this offer is give us a call on our toll-free number, which is 1-866-695-8247. That's 1-866-695-8247. Once again, the title of the paper asks for the etheric body and the seven centers. So if you're interested in this show and you'd like to explore it further, that would be a gift to you that you might find enjoyable. You can take a deeper look at the etheric body, and hopefully from there you might, reading the paper, which is more extensive than our show today, the paper itself that you read might be something that might stimulate your interest in the larger books by Alice Bailey that go into great depth on these subjects. But start with this one. Once again, it's called The Etheric Body and the Seven Centers. Give us a call on our toll-free number. The easy way to remember the toll-free number is as follows: 1-866-NY Lucis. Think of 1-866 New York Lucis. Lucis is Lucis. And ask for that paper, The Etheric Body and the Seven Centers. All of our Inner Sight programs can be heard on our website at www.lucistrust.org. On the home page, you'll find a link to today's program, which will be available for hearing in a day or two. Last week's program is already available, and many of our past programs can also be heard. www.lucistrust.org. The theme of each week's program is posted in advance on our website so that you can see in advance what next Sunday's program will be. We appreciate your support. Many of you have been generous with your donations, your tax-deductible donations. Well, that's what keeps us on the air, and it's certainly a measure of your support. So if you'd like to continue hearing these shows every week, as many people seem to want, what you need to do is send us a check or a money order to Lucis Trust, Lucis, L-U-C-I-S, Lucis Trust, 120 Wall Street, New York, New York, 10005. Once again, Lucis Trust, 120 Wall Street, New York, New York, 10005. And all of your donations, both large and small, contribute to keeping us on the air. We hope someday that some large benefactor out there would like to underwrite the show, and it would be a monumental tax deduction, and also it would make our job a lot easier as far as not having to go through the stress of paying for these shows every week, which we're honored to do, but nevertheless sometimes it detracts from our work. All right, once again, our show is the Etheric Body. It's something we've been doing. This is our second show. So once again, Sarah, you had mentioned earlier about the etheric body. Sometimes I think that so much illness, I'm beginning to conclude that so much illness is a result of what's going on with the etheric body. Would that be a correct assumption?
Well, yes. According to the writings of Alice Bailey, she has a book titled Esoteric Healing, which is one of our bestsellers, and it's an in-depth study of disease, and it does say that the underlying condition of physical illness is etheric.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extremely abstruse subject. One can't learn and really understand it without a great deal of study, and it's also, even for real authentic healers, difficult to grasp the nature of disease, because as I understand it, a lot of disease has its origins in the past, and you can't necessarily look at present conditions and say, well, this is why I'm sick. I always hate to hear people blame themselves if they are ill, or the person who is ill, by saying, well, that person has had a bad attitude and this is why they're sick, or they've thought bad thoughts and this is why they're ill. I don't think it's that simple. But the causes are truly in the etheric body, because that's where the shape, the quality, the conditioning of the physical vehicle is formed on the level of energy. So if you want to get at the cause, you have to go to the etheric vehicle. And this applies not just to people, but to groups, to nations, to objects. In fact, Alice Bailey said the whole of space is the life of an entity, of a being. And that may sound incredible until you think about the realization that is backed up by science, that we're made of stardust, every one of us, apparently. We're all offshoots of something.
It's amazing to think about, amazing to comprehend, and I guess also science is also acknowledging that everything is one. It's still difficult for me to understand.
Well, this is what we're trying to get at to get to the base of, but it is very difficult, the oneness of the universe.
Yes, and I think some scientists who are doing studies of plasma physics are also recognizing the electrical nature of the universe, and the electrical. In fact, there is a book out now called The Electric Sky that goes into all of this, and it describes all from studies they've made, the electrical nature of the space itself, and the electrical plasma that contained in space, that all space is made, seems to be made of this electric plasma. which is simply electrical lines of force. And it's very reminiscent